Hello and welcome to the video. Today we are going to clarify how we can huddle so we can prepare for a handoff and a handback when our situations are not ideal. That way we can support all of our guests in their VIP experience no matter what's happening in the studio. In the video, we will clarify how to prepare for and handle a VIP differently when a guest arrives later than expected, and we'll have to hand them off sooner to the coach. We'll also learn how both sides of the glass handle a hand back differently if the coach needs to maybe flip the room or we have back-to-back intros. And of course, we'll learn how to huddle so we can prepare for everyone's role in the process, and that way we can all work best together. So, why does all of this matter? Well, our guests come for this VIP experience that they see online, that they hear about from their friends, and regardless of when they arrive or what's happening in the next class, they deserve to have that incredible VIP experience. And we know that the sales and ops team and the fitness team both play a really important role in that experience. And when we clarify and understand our roles, that's when we can really and truly work together to give the guests the very best VIP experience. We know that two main parts of the VIP intro process are the handoff and the handback. And these parts are pivotal to the process. Now, the handoff, the timing of this may have to shift depending on when the guest comes in to make sure that they have the best experience. And the hand back, the process of that may need to shift depending on what's happening in the next class. So, in order to understand the role that everyone plays, planning is necessary, and that's why we're going to scoot that huddle as step one, where we're going to come together as a team and plan all this together. All right, let's start with the huddle. So we'll learn how to come together as a team to plan for how this VIP intro is going to look and feel depending on what's happening in the studio. The planning is the key to making sure that everyone knows what's going on. The huddle is exactly what it sounds like. The sales and ops and coaches come together to discuss the upcoming intro. And we're going to start that discussion by figuring out what's going to happen at the end. So, what is the hand back going to look like? Is it going to be a base or an all out? And stay tuned, we'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. We also want to understand what member of the sales and ops team is going to be waiting on the other side of the glass to welcome the guest back after their class. And then we want to discuss what we already know about the guest. That way, if the guest comes in late, the coaches are already armed with whatever knowledge we have. Lastly, we'll talk about who on sales and ops is going to handle the handoff. We know that this is up in the air because it depends when the guest walks through the door, but at least we know who is taking the lead on this. Our action items for the huddle are really easy. We prepare the information, so we're gathering everything that we have from the contact logs, the first visit card, and we're huddling and we're talking and we're planning, and that's it. The huddle is simple and it helps us make sure that our guests get that fantastic experience that they deserve. Next, we're going to talk about the handoff, specifically the timing of the handoff, because we want to make sure that the guest has the best experience regardless of when they come in the studio. As we consider the timing of the handoff, we have three potential situations. We have a base where the VIP arrives 30 to 16 minutes before class. This is our ideal. This is what we know, what we love. We're going to do the meet and greet. We're going to make sure that the CI and the credit card are on file. Give a great tour. Talk with the guest using the first visit card, and then we're going to hand off to the coach. All of that looks and feels normal. Then we have a potential push and an all out. So a push happens when they arrive 15 to 6 minutes before class, and an all out is when the VIP arrives 5 to 0 minutes before class. In both of these situations, our process is going to shift a little bit. Of course, we're still going to meet and greet, We're going to make sure we have our triple C's, our client intake, our credit card, and talk about any medical conditions. And then we are going to shift the timing of that handoff right up. Our goal is to give the coach as much time for the fitness orientation as possible because the guest safety and experience is the most important part. So, as we prepare for a handoff, what are our action items? Well, first, we prepare. Do we have the CI form? Do we have a credit card? Make sure that we have everything on file that we need so we can have things ready if the guest walks in late. And then know when to flip the script. Be aware of the time, know when it's 15 minutes and we need to flip the script and we need to fast track this intro. We have a tool for you. Make sure that you use that tool for guidance. And then follow the process. Don't be stressed about eliminating the studio tour or the first visit card. You are not really eliminating items. You're following a different process. You're following the fast track process. Okay, we've gotten through everything. We've huddled, we've handled the handoff. The guest has had an absolutely fantastic class. They're really excited. Now we're going to talk about the hand back and how that looks and feels. Okay, I promised you I'd talk to you about a base and an all-out handback, and here we are. So we'll talk about the difference first, and then we'll dive into the different types of roles that we play in each. So first, a base handback. We know this is happening because either there's no upcoming class or there's no intro in the upcoming class. And the coach does not need to reset the room for a different class structure, meaning we're not moving from an orange 60 to a strength and tread. We're not talking about just regular cleaning. Now, an all out is happening when not only do we have an upcoming class, but we have an intro in that upcoming class. And we are transitioning that class type, so the coach does need to reset the room. Okay, now that we have that, let's talk about the different roles that we play. Always and forever, our fitness team is going to recap the class and they're going to provide a fit description, no matter whether it's a base or an all out. Always and forever, our fitness team is going to give the membership option and ask to use the card on file, regardless of what's happening. Now, when it comes to objections, here's where things look and feel different for our fitness team. In a base, our fitness team can hang around a little bit longer to really help overcome those objections. But in an all out, they simply don't have time. So instead of really sticking around, they're going to describe a really clear why behind the membership option so that we can really take the lead on overcoming those objections. Now, what does our role look like? Always and forever, we are going to support the membership provided by the coach. And then, just like we talked about, in the base, we're really going to support the coach in overcoming objections, where in the all out, we're really going to take the lead in overcoming objections. Always and forever, we're going to be the ones that process the membership or schedule a second class if we can't close. We always know what a handback will look like in advance, so we really can plan together so no one's fumbling over the other person. So, what are our action items when it comes to the handback? Here it's really pivotal that everyone knows their role. So, not only are we not tripping over each other, but really important, we're not missing anything because we're assuming the other person's going to do it. Second, as a sales and ops team, we really need to hyper focus on information. The guest and the coach made incredible connections during class. And the more we learn about those connections, the better we can guide the guests on their fitness journey with us. And lastly, and this message is for everyone. Everyone is responsible for overcoming objections. Whether we're taking the lead or supporting, we want to get 3 no's before we go. So get that guest to say no 3 times before we attempt to schedule the guest for their second class. All right, let's put it all together now. For the huddle, we're asking who's going to be doing the handoff, what information do we know, and we're going to learn what's happening with the hand back. With the handoff and preparing for that, we are going to understand whether we're doing a regular or a fast track depending on when the guest comes in. And when it comes to the handback, we're going to understand how long the coach can really hang around and help out with objections based on whether we're looking at a base or an all-out handback. And don't worry, we've made a handy guide for you that you can use during your huddle so you can make sure everyone knows what everyone else is doing. Planning ensures that we really are set up for success with the guest, and that guest is getting the best experience that we can offer them. And it helps make sure that we're set up for success. We don't need to be frustrated because everyone knows what the other person is doing. And we want to be aware of what everyone's role is in what part of the process. That's the whole plan. When we plan and when we know our role, we can focus all our energy on giving the best OTF experience no matter what is happening in the studio. And that is really what our guests and our members come for. Thanks for learning with us today.